1. The end of the Roman Empire in the West. Rome's first emperor, Caesar Augustus, ended 100 years of civil war and expanded the boundaries of the Roman Empire. When he died in 14 CE, few Romans could imagine that their empire would ever end. Yet by the year 500, the western half of the empire had collapsed. What caused the fall of the mighty Roman Empire? Problems in the late empire. There was no single reason for the end of the Roman Empire. Instead, historians point to a number of problems that combined to bring about its fall. Political instability. Rome never solved the problem of how to peacefully transfer political power to a new leader. When an emperor died, ambitious rivals with independent armies often fought each other for control of the empire. Even when the transfer of power happened without conflict, there was no good system for selecting the next emperor. Many times, the Praetorian Guard, the emperor's private army, chose the new ruler, but they frequently chose leaders who would reward them rather than those who were best prepared to be emperor. Economic and social problems. Besides political instability, the empire suffered from economic and social problems. To finance Rome's huge armies, its citizens had to pay heavy taxes. These taxes weakened the economy and drove many people into poverty. Trade also suffered. Unemployment was a serious problem for the economy. Additionally, wealthy families used slaves and cheap labor to work their large estates. Small farmers could not compete with the large landowners. Even though they fled to the cities looking for work, there were not enough jobs for everyone. Other social problems plagued the empire, including growing corruption and a decline in the spirit of citizenship. Notorious emperors like Nero and Caligula wasted large amounts of money. A rise in crime made the empire's cities and roads unsafe. Weakening frontiers. A final problem was the weakening of the empire's frontiers. The huge size of the empire made it hard to defend, and it sometimes took weeks for leaders in Rome to communicate with generals. By the 300 CE, Germanic tribes were pressing hard on the western borders of the empire. Many of these peoples went on to settle inside the empire and were recruited into the army. But often these soldiers had little loyalty to Rome. The fall of Rome in 330 CE, the Emperor Constantine took a step that changed the future of the Roman Empire. He moved his capital 850 miles east, to the ancient city of Byzantium. He renamed the city New Rome. Later, it was called Constantinople. In modern times, it was renamed yet again, and today, it is known as Istanbul, Turkey. After Constantine's reign, the vast empire was usually ruled by two emperors, one based in Rome and one based in Constantinople. Rome became the capital of just the western part of the empire. Constantinople was the capital of the eastern part of the empire. The emperors in Rome soon found themselves threatened by invading Germanic tribes. In 410 CE, one of these tribes attacked and looted Rome itself. Finally, in 476, the last emperor in the west was driven from his throne. The western half of the empire began to dissolve into separate kingdoms. In the east, the empire continued for another 1,000 years. Today, we refer to this Eastern Empire as the Byzantine Empire, after Byzantium, the original name of its capital city. In Western Europe, Rome's fall did not mean the end of Roman civilization. The influence of Rome lived on through the medieval period and all the way to our time. As you read about the legacy of the Romans, think about how ideas and events from a distant past still affect us today.